Great thing is it's still done, so it's already hot. And this is also going to bake, but so I got my Alfredo sauce, but like I said, you can use heavy cream if you want. And I'm actually going to put almond milk to get the rest of it out. There we go. So I'm going to make this Creole version just by using Creole seasoning. So, and I use almond milk because I just like that it has almonds, right? It has a nutty flavor to it. And I really do like nuts in most of my stuff now. I used to not be a big fan of nuts, and I used to say, oh, well, it's so expensive. But there are so many health benefits to it that now I'm just like, put that stuff in everything. And I'm a big texture person, so it actually works really nicely for me. So, we got our Alfredo sauce. I'm going to add a little tomato. Because we're doing a Cajun Alfredo. So we'll want to add some acidity to it. So I'm going to take these and slice them up. I'm also going to start opening that can that we're going to use for the soup as well, you know? And I may use some of the roasted bell pepper as well, since that recipe only calls for half of it. So, and if you have parsley, what other? You can use herbs, different herbs, but I think parsley is probably a big one. I'm looking at my, I don't know. You want to put the garlic in, of course. I'm probably going to add more mushroom. So let me get the garlic together. And like I said, if you want to dice all this stuff and just put it in a separate container, maybe I'll do that next time. So it's already kind of prepped, but a lot of these things you can already buy diced too. And with your greens, if you haven't put them on yet, if you're like me and you mentioned it and you looked at it and didn't actually put it on, you really just need a little water, the seasoning piece, so salt and black pepper. I would recommend also I'll turn off your seafood if you haven't already, but the garlic, the onion. I have some frozen spinach, so I'm going to actually just add that too because it's starting to go bad. So, but you can put that on now. The water is just so that it doesn't burn. Oh, and actually, I need a bigger pan. Womp, womp, womp. Okay. Okay, so that's better. And since we've already cooked the seafood, we really don't need to put that in with the sauce. I would say you probably want to put it in last. And the nice thing about the greens is you kind of set it and forget it, so to speak. There's not a lot that needs to be done to it. But you do want to make sure it's covered so that it can actually cook. So. Uh-oh. And then the last thing we'll be doing is the soup, but we're almost done. So let's finish that. know I like to use a lot of different things. Like for me, a big thing I almost always use a lot of is spinach, broccoli. I'll just go to Costco and buy that in bulk, so I don't have to worry about it. But you can do what's best for you. So, and since I'm serving this with chicken, I'm not going to add turkey meat and all of that. Like I said, you can definitely do that. I'm just not crazy. I don't think I need it. I don't think I need it this time. So, there we go. Okay. Back to the garlic. Okay. So, I feel like half of this video is going to be about garlic, right? But that's okay. So garlic and onion. So you'll see a couple of these options. Like we probably could have just diced a whole onion and left it in a bowl, like I was saying earlier, and then we could have just split it among the items. But it's really just letting yourself operate the way you operate. So if you find a better way to do something, then do it better next time. But it's okay to do it however you feel works for you. So we got the onion and I'm debating how much onion I'm going to put in the greens. But that's the nice thing when I buy it, especially onions and things in bulk. I'm like, well, I don't have to skimp on the onion, because I know I have enough onion to at least last me the month. Now, if you're cooking for more than 2 people, or more than 1 person, I try to give you options. So I am typically cooking for myself. Sometimes I'm cooking for a few people. But if you're like a family of 4 or something like that, then you may need to double a lot of this stuff that I do. Because you probably wouldn't get 1 full meal for everyone out of it. So just keep that in mind, serving sizes as well. So, I'm gonna start crying. I'm chopping onion. And also, this is a very ripe onion because it was sitting in a bowl in my fridge, and I didn't realize that it was onion. And that's why I always recommend, if you have leftover vegetables, to put them in a Ziploc or something clear, so you know you have them in there. Because if I hadn't actually just cleaned out my fridge, I would have never known that I actually had that in there. So, just something to keep in mind. We are almost done. We really just have the soup. But I also want to take out some of the red pepper and put it in the Cajun pasta. So that's what I'm going to do in a second. And for the Cajun pasta, you can use whatever noodles you want. I'm going to use these, I believe these are shirataki. So it's made of kanji. So it's not really pasta, so to speak. It's not made with flour. But it has a pasta consistency, so it works for me. If it doesn't work for you, use regular pasta. I just like to give folks options, so. Okay, so we want to get on this pasta. I'm going to put Old Bay seasoning, which I already used a bit for the seafood, but I'm also going to use some more. You can also add, and I might add broccoli to this actually. So I'm just gonna steam my broccoli so that it's already soft. You don't have to add broccoli. I'm gonna add broccoli because I realize I use a lot of mushroom, so I don't want to add more mushrooms. So I'm just gonna use this. You can add more mushroom if you like. You don't have to. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well. And we also want to add, where's my Creole seasoning. And the nice thing when you use Creole seasoning and all in these mixtures, you want to just check to see what's in here. So use like salt. Okay, it's red pepper, black pepper, chili powder. So I don't have to use those things necessarily again. It's already in there. So, all right, I'm gonna use a couple of these if I can open them. If not, then I'm not. So these are great. You can just put them in the microwave. But if you have a steamer, you just use your steamer or your Instant Pot. Whatever works for you. I'm just gonna hop them in the microwave real quick. All right. So I want to add a little tomato sauce because I want it to be Creole. A few of this. So there we go. Oh, there was beautiful. There we go. So use 2 of these. So I'm going to use 1 red pepper. There we go. For the pasta. And I just happen to have red bell pepper in a can or in a jar. I don't usually have that on me, but if you do, it's nice in that it's marinated already. So it brings another layer of flavor to it. So this is mostly going to be for the soup, so I'm just going to use a dabble of it for the Alfredo. And this is just crushed tomatoes. There we go. Alright. And I'm going to add a bit more cream. And black pepper. And since I'm adding the broccoli, I'm probably going to use up most of my cream. In fact, I'll probably add some water too, or maybe even some almond milk. Because the broccoli is probably going to take up most of that. So, okay. So we have the chicken in the oven. We've made our Creole fettuccine sauce. And if you didn't use the already made Alfredo, you'll want to add Parmesan cheese. I did, so I don't necessarily need to, but I'm still going to. So let me go ahead and add some Parmesan. Where is my Parmesan? There we go. I'm not going to add a lot because I actually have a shaved Asiago that I'm going to put on top when I actually eat the Alfredo. So, you can do whatever works for you. Okay, it tastes very Creole. Okay. Now I'm going to add my pasta. And I'm also going to put this in the oven just because, like I said, I don't really like things being watery. So, to me, putting things in the oven just really gives it a chance to really bake together and absorb some moisture. So, also, when you live in Chicago, it's cold in the winter, you get some extra heat for your house. So there you go. Win-win. So we are mostly done. The only thing that we have left is our soup. So if you already got those pre-made greens, they're probably pretty much close to being done. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to drain some of the juice because I think I put too much water in it. But it smells really good. And I think the onions, you could also add vegetable stock instead of the water, and that's going to add more flavor. So I do actually have a very small thing of vegetable concentrate. So if you use concentrate, you want to remember to add some water, because it really is going to be very concentrated. So you just want to keep that in mind if you're using it. Oh, I almost forgot. So for me, since I'm doing a Cajun pasta, I wanted to have a kick. I'm going to add some jalapeno. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be super hot if you don't want it. I like things hot. So I guess I really just like a strong flavor profile. I like things rich. I like things sharp. I like to really get a layer of flavor. So I think maybe in another life, perhaps I was a chef. But it just, to me, it's a science almost. Like you're seeing how these flavors meld together. And I think about that in relationships too. Like, we're all so different, but yet we find ways to come together. And each of us brings something unique to the table. So it's really something to be celebrated. I think about like Alfredo, and if people hadn't adopted it to make it Creole or their own like style, yeah, regular Alfredo's good too. But we have so many other options now. And I think that just brings variety and just a new way to look at it. The foundation is still pretty similar, but there's just another option to it. So I'm also going to add the shrimp now and the scallops and all that. Like I said, putting scallops, small scallops on the grill, not great. Because they tend to get stuck. But, hey, whatever. It's fine too. I tell you what though, that grilled shrimp, delicious. So. Being part Jamaican is really, I guess that's also why I like flavors to be a certain way too. Like, it's just, just part of how I identify too. So I actually have, I'm just going to take the scallops, the broccoli, all that, make sure it's mixed up in there, and then I'm going to put this also in the oven with the chicken, and we're going to keep it moving. So and I actually had some grilled green beans too. I just added it in here. Like, so, you know, you can add whatever vegetables and whatnot. I like to make sure it's not totally just pasta, because I want to get some nutrients out of it. But this is pretty much for me, veggies and milk. So, but like I said, if maybe you're lactose intolerant, use almond milk. and just find a thickener that works for you. I may do just a video on thickeners because I love thick gravies and soups and all that. So I may talk a little more about some things that I've discovered over the years, but you don't have to use the heavy cream and all of that. Especially if your doctor doesn't recommend it or you have certain healthcare needs, then yeah, you don't want to use that most of the time. But I use it because I like it, it's decadent. But I also realize I have to use it in moderation too. So we're gonna put this in the oven, probably just like 10 minutes, if that. So by the time we finish our soup, that'll probably be done too. You'll check on your chicken. Might want to add some more black pepper. It smells amazing. My greens are almost done. And finally, we're going to do the soup and we're done. So you'll need your tomatoes. So this is like 2 cups of tomatoes right already. So you're going to need that. You're going to need 2 tablespoons apple cider vinegar. You're going to need lemon juice. You're going to need a cup of olive oil. Or some olive oil. You're going to need a cup of lemon juice. And 2 tablespoons apple cider vinegar. Now, apple cider vinegar is pretty strong for me, so I tend to temper that. You know, I always suggest that people cook where they are. So if you don't think you can take some of that, then don't give yourself too much. So if you want more, add more. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Okay. What else am I putting in here? Onions, garlic, 6 cups of water. Okay. So we're just going to put it all in here, essentially. I'm going to dice the red pepper. It's saying to pulsate all of this. You could, which I might actually, because I'm kind of tired of actually chopping everything. So I don't have to because I have a lovely food processor. So put this in here, the bell peppers, tomato. Where's my garlic? Since this is the last item we're making tonight, I'm probably going to use all this garlic. So the key is to garlic is being able to break it down. And it's difficult when you've already been cooking. So like I said, next week I'm probably going to just already have some of these broken down, and I recommend you all to try to, if you have help and they can break it down, then yes, this is a great opportunity for folks who can use a knife. But if you're in here by yourself, then yeah, you may want to consider chopping up everything first. Just because it does get challenging after you've been cooking and putting your hands in different things. Like right now, my hands are really slippery. And so this is actually a little challenging for me to take the garlic skin out. So just keep that in mind. So really, you're just going to pulsate everything, put it in the Instant Pot. Or put it in a pot. Whatever works for you. But we are going to be done. So, like I said, I think today's big thing is what inspires you. You know, what keeps you going? And what freezes you, you know? Because that plays such an important role in our lives too. I do a lot of videos on shadow selves and shadow work. And I think that's something to think about. You know, we don't really pay attention to really what holds us back sometimes. Sometimes we say it's other people, but really, often it's what we've internalized for ourselves to be true. So I do a lot of work with people on looking at their perspective. But like I said, when you are used to being in a society that says things have to be a certain way in order for you to even start, then you end up not doing perhaps what you really want, or taking a really long time to get there. So I guess my thing is, maybe it's just me being a Pisces with an Aquarius rising. Like, I just feel like you just do it, and you learn along the way. But we have to look at, what are we being taught? Is this a lesson that I really think I want to take with me? Is this the perspective I want to take? Because the lesson is different from the perspective. So I try to keep that in mind as much as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and base that. I don't think we need anything else in here. A cucumber. We're going to put a cucumber in here too? Well, it says we're going to put a cucumber in. So, okay. Cucumber as well, so. And I have this jalapeno. I'm probably going to put that jalapeno in the greens. Like, I'm really tempted to do it, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and do it. Okay. They also say cucumber for this, which is interesting, but okay. Wow, that red pepper is gorgeous in there, though. So, yeah. There we go. Put that there. Okay. Yes, Kat. What do you get? 15 minutes under high pressure. 6 cups of water. 6 cups of water. So this also called for a green pepper chop. I love green peppers. I have jalapenos, so that's what we gonna do. So, yeah, okay. But I probably won't use the whole pepper just because I know this is gonna be a little spicy. So. And like I said, I like some texture, so it said to put all of this in a food processor, but I'm not, because I want some chunks. So there we go. Water. Okay. And you can decide how much water you want to add to. I'm just going to use my can. These are the tomatoes, and probably do about half of it. Just because I don't want too much. I like a thicker soup, so that's going to work better for me. Okay. Guys, we are done. I'm going to let this cook in the Instapot. But it essentially is a tomato soup, and I'm going to top it with the goat cheese. And maybe some avocado, depending on how I feel. But yeah, that is it. I didn't even look at the clock yet. Hopefully I didn't take up too much of y'all's time, but thank you so much for joining us today. Let us know how the recipes turned out for you. And if you did make any changes, let us know. We're all learning together. So hopefully this was helpful and useful information, or at least a good conversation. Thanks y'all for joining, and see you next time.